John Broden is the third officer to arrive on scene. The first one is Sergeant Greg Dahlstrom. Second one is Tara Becker. And then John Broden arrives. These are all the notes I have right here in this first section on the bodies. There could be more later on. So Broden says on page 4 of the 94-page report that David was found laying on his, quote, back with a black semi-auto pistol nearby. Kamel was laying on her, quote, stomach and or side, still page 4. Rania, here's what Broden says about Rania. Between the two adult bodies was the body of a small child. Between the two adult bodies was the body of a small child, page 4. Okay, now we're kind of jumping around here to page 22, looking at Tommy Booth and what Tommy Booth said, that Rania, quote, appeared to be in a later stage of decay and was missing her right arm. Page 22, still talking about Rania, the head was found in between the legs of Kamel pointing west, page 22. Rania's right arm was missing from the body. She was in a later state of decay. We covered that. Just reading my notes here. Kamel was pointing west, chest down on the floor. Her head, quote, could not be seen on the initial view. She also did not have either hand. This is page 23 from Tommy Booth. As far as David, it says laying on his back with his body point toward the east and both arms spread outward from the body was David Crowley. David Crowley was missing his right arm, quote, black semi-auto handgun, several inches from his left hand, page 23. Small portion of his rear skull still attached to the spinal column, but a large portion of the head was missing, page 23. Blood on the flooring between the dining room and living room. Still page 23. They found a Mac laptop open on the kitchen counter, plugged into a power source. There was a thermostat, right here I have, there was a thermostat at 68 degrees in the hallway. There was a thermostat that was set to 68, to hold at 68. So it was no more than 68. I think we can at least agree on that, right? Quote, some small spots of what appeared to be blood in the area. So in that area where that thermostat is, still page 23. He also writes that there was a small amount of marijuana on top of the dresser. There was a small gun safe on the nightstand next to the bed, still page 23. The safe was open. Set of keys inside, semi-auto magazine, loaded with 40 cal hollow point bullets. Closet of the master bedroom, large green footlocker with a padlock, page 23. One of the lesser known things that I've really looked into is that picture of the footlocker and what's in that footlocker, the green footlocker. Now there is a photograph of the master bedroom sink, and I did think that there was blood in there. I do believe that I'm wrong. I think a lot of other people are right that it's not blood in that master bedroom sink. I'm still curious as to what it really is. So the bedroom office on the south side of the residence, page 23, there's a love seat, a desk, Apple computer on desk, file cabinet, notepad and pen, kind of a to-do list is what I have here. And that's based on, we're still on page 23. There was paper that had blood on it, and it said, quote, open the Rise most recent version. Submit to Allah now. Still on page 23. Then we're going to go to page 24, where he's talking about Rania. Entry and exit bullet holes into the skull of the child. Okay, so this was noted because he found entry and exit bullet holes into the skull of the child. And because he said holes, so I was like, oh, so she was shot twice? What's going on here? Why is he saying holes? But he could mean the entry hole is one hole, exit hole is another hole, two holes. Holes in the skull of this child. Still page 24. So I'll go with that. I do wonder where that bullet ended up. Kamel had 2 entry bullet holes into the skull of the adult female. As far as Kamel, there were 2 entry bullet holes into the skull of the adult female, still on page 24. Doesn't say anything about exit wounds here. If most of her head was missing, I'm curious to understand why they thought that, why they came to that conclusion. As far as David goes, there was 1 exit bullet hole in the skull of the male adult, page 24. Also page 24, oh, I cannot read my handwriting. Page 24, mention of the medical examiner report, which we later got. I really wanted to get that. So on page 24, it was mentioned, and I made a note of that. David, when found, the majority of his head was missing. Okay, so now we're jumping down. That was page 24. Now I'm jumping down to page 45 here. Page 45 is written by Brian Bone, 1/21/2015 at 11:54 a.m. The majority of David's head was, quote, missing, and, quote, only the back part of his skull still in place. Page 45. Only the back part of his skull was still in place. The upper spine was also exposed. Ooh, gruesome. Left hand was in place. Right hand was missing. Page 45. It said he was barefoot, pants, shirt, top of body facing east, feet facing west. Page 45. Still page 45 now. Kamel, the majority of her head was missing. Only the back lower part of her skull was still in place. Page 45. So how do they see 2 entry bullet holes with most of this head missing? Has to show. It has to. We can imagine. Both hands missing. Page 45. Both hands are missing. Pants, heavy socks, corset, page 45, and a shirt. Doesn't say what shirt she had on. I think obviously she had a few shirts on, but one of the shirts that she had on was a Gray State shirt. She was wearing a Gray State shirt. Top of body was found facing west. Feet facing east. She was on her stomach. Feet spread apart. Body of Rania was, quote, lying partially between her legs. Still on page 45. Still on page 45, now we go to Rania, where Brian Bone reports that Rania's entire right arm and shoulder socket are missing. Body is found on the left side. Head is facing northeast. Feet facing southwest. Sweatpants, short sleeve or short sleeveless shirt. Page 45. For David, the gun was found on the left side of the male's body to the south by approximately 1 foot. Still page 45. The gun was loaded with a round in the chamber and a magazine inserted into the gun at the time of its discovery. Bullet was also found downstairs in the basement ceiling wall, which was directly below. Something on page 45 is censored here. And wow. I'm going to have to look at what is censored on page 45, because we have the uncensored version in the big 485 page document, the BCA document, 485 pages. It has this same police report in there on page 45. It must be like on the 485 page document. It's got to be somewhere page 80, page 90, somewhere like that. But it is uncensored in that other document. But for now, we're just looking at these 94 pages. And this is the first censored part that I've seen here. First major censored part. Page 45. Keep that in mind. Very important.